Welcome to this ZENworks video demonstration. In this video, we will demonstrate how to encrypt fixed disk folders and removable data drives on managed devices by using the quick links in the Getting Started page for encrypting devices to create and assign the Microsoft Data Encryption Policy. ZENworks Microsoft Data Encryption Policy manages Microsoft's BitLocker and encrypting file system tools to encrypt removable drives and fixed disk folders respectively. When you create or configure the policy, you have the option of applying either capability separately or both of them. In this demonstration, we'll include both of these features in the policy. We've previously activated endpoint security to enable the quick links that are provided in the Encrypt Fixed Disk Folders and Removable Drive section on the Getting Started page. To get started, we'll click the Create Policy link for the Microsoft Data Encryption Policy. When clicking this link, the flow of the wizard for policy creation has steps 1 through 3 pre-selected, so we click Next or press Return until we come to step 4. After naming the policy, we start configuring the policy in step 5. The default setting already has removable data drive encryption enabled. Once we apply the policy, this will enforce encryption of removable drives when they are first connected to the managed device. For the encryption algorithm, we'll leave the compatible mode AES-CBC selected, which will work on all Windows 7 and newer Windows devices. We'll also leave the default setting for initial encryption, since we want the fast means of encryption and we have no requirement to encrypt unused drive space. For the unlock method, we're choosing the strongest security to always prompt, as well as requiring a strong unlock password, which requires 8 or more characters and at least 1 uppercase and 1 lowercase letter, 1 number, and 1 special character. This last setting enables retaining existing BitLocker settings if a removable drive is already encrypted using BitLocker, or overriding the existing BitLocker settings with the ZENworks policy settings if they are different. The default and ladder option could include decrypting and re-encrypting to apply the new settings when the policy is first enforced. We'll stick with the default setting, which completes the configuration for encrypting removable data drives. Note that folder encryption using Windows EFS is enabled by default. An administrator decryption password is required to complete the policy, so we'll add that. This password can be used to decrypt folders on any device the policy is applied to. Once the policy is applied, users can choose which folders they want to encrypt. In the Encrypt Folders configuration, you can add or define policy level folders that are encrypted by default when the policy is applied. We're adding the Windows Documents directory on the user profile as a default encrypted folder. As shown here, you can use environment variables for folder paths. For devices with multiple users, all user encrypted folders and policy encrypted folders in a user's profile directory are private. On the other hand, policy encrypted folders outside of a user's profile directory are public. This option will show folder and file names in colored text when they are encrypted. The final setting that you can enable provides increased security through secondary authentication. Without this option, as soon as a user logs into Windows, he or she has access to the encrypted folders. With this option, after Windows login, the user must enter a second password before gaining access to the encrypted folders. You can also require a strong password with this setting. We'll enable this setting and also add the requirement for a strong password. In the summary page, we'll leave the default to create a sandbox version of the policy and click Finish. With the policy created, we can now assign it to applicable devices, so we click the Assign Policy link in the Getting Started page under Microsoft Data Encryption Policy. From this wizard, we can choose our devices, select the policy to assign, and enforce the policy immediately, or wait to enforce it later. Enforcement adds the policy to applicable devices as a sandbox version upon ZENworks agent refresh. To apply the policy, we need to select the policy in the Policies page and publish the policy. If there are any folders designated for default encryption, the encryption will start as soon as the ZENworks agent is refreshed on applicable devices. You can refresh devices by selecting them in the Devices page and running the Refresh Device quick task. Now, we'll transition to a device where the policy was applied to see how this works. Upon logging in, the user is prompted to provide secondary authentication. If this option is bypassed, the user will not be able to access the Documents directory or any of its contents. We'll go ahead and provide the password. As we open the Documents directory for this user, we can see that there are locks on the icons and colored text on folder and file names of these items, which were automatically encrypted by the policy. If we go to another folder outside of the user's profile, there is no encryption. To demonstrate how the user encrypts a folder, we simply right-click the folder and select the ZENworks option to encrypt the folder. Since the user has already provided Windows and secondary authentication for this Windows session, encrypted folders and files will now open the same as they would on a device without encryption. In another login session, we can see what happens when the user plugs a USB data drive into the device before logging in. After login, the ZENworks agent refreshes, and a prompt displays informing the user of the policy change. After clicking OK, the user must provide a password to start the encryption, or the removable drive will be set to read only. After providing the password and clicking OK, the user can monitor the encryption status of the removable drive. In this video, we've demonstrated how to create and assign a Microsoft Data Encryption policy to devices to encrypt fixed disk folders and removable data drives, and briefly demonstrated how the policy works on a device. For more information about using ZENworks security products, view other Getting Started videos, or see the ZENworks documentation page. Thanks for watching.